Hi everybody, I'm Margaret Parkin. Some of you might remember me from my business days when I used to write and talk about storytelling in organisations. Well, that was a few zillion years ago, well 3 or 4, because I've been retired for that period of time. But I thought that it might be an appropriate time to share some stories with you, because we're all going through this challenging time at the moment, and there's a lot of fear around. People are understandably very scared, and it tends to be times like this that a lot of us turn to stories as a means of comfort, as a method for relaxing us, for soothing us, even sometimes helping us to see things a different way. So I'm going to read a story this afternoon. This is one of the stories from one of my books, and I think it's quite pertinent. I never tell the moral of a story because I think that's up to the individual, because they mean different things to different people. So I'm going to read you the story. Relax, sit back, have a cup of tea, glass of whatever you want, and I'm going to tell you the story, a traditional tale, and this is called The Woman Who Lived with Fear. She never knew why fear came to live with her, but he seemed to be with her constantly, so much so that she wouldn't venture out of her house to see her friends or talk to strangers. One day she decided, I will go outside and meet with my friends. But she only got as far as the door when fear stood in her way, towering over her and laughing, saying, you'll never go out. Just think what might happen. If you met people you didn't know, they might belittle you and make fun of you. Besides, see how bad the weather is. You might catch your death of cold. Best not to go. The woman listened, and although she tried to argue, in the end she decided to agree with fear. The next day she got up thinking, today I will go outside and walk in the sun. But once again at the door she was stopped in her tracks by fear. Well, this time she wrestled with him in an attempt to get to the door, but after hours of struggling she was exhausted, and in the end decided not to go. The next day she got up thinking, today I will go outside and pick some flowers. Now this time when she got to the door, fear was waiting as usual, but this time he didn't look quite so intimidating, and she caught him off guard. Knocking him off balance, she pushed him over and ran through the door. Well, she had a wonderful day, meeting her friends, picking flowers, walking in the sun. So much so that she did it the next day and the day after that, and never gave fear another thought. Indeed, fear seemed to have vanished altogether. But then, on the 4th day, while she was walking through the woods, she suddenly saw a huge bear running straight towards her, snarling and growling. She stood for a moment transfixed with terror. Then, apparently out of nowhere, fear stepped up and grabbed her by the hand, pulling her along and helping her to run and run and run so fast she eventually managed to escape from the bear. Once back home, fear said, I told you something bad like that would happen to you if you went outside. Perhaps now you'll listen to me. And the woman did. And in the morning, when she awoke, there was fear standing just as large and menacing by the doorway. Somewhat timidly, she approached him and said, Fear, why have you become so large and menacing again? Fear replied, you must learn to deal with me every day. And you must learn the difference between when you need me and when you don't. Oh, now I understand, said the woman. And as soon as she'd uttered these words, fear shrank to the size of a tiny dwarf sitting cross-legged on the floor. On seeing this, she picked him up and put him carefully in her pocket. She never knew why fear came to live with her, but now she's happy to carry him round in her pocket, knowing that she can call on him whenever he is needed. So I hope you enjoyed that. I'll leave you to ponder on that story, and we'll maybe share another one another time soon. Take care.